Welcome to BioLab's Be Empowered podcast series, coming to you live from our booth at the Bio International Conference in San Diego. My name is Allison Brown, and I am the site director at BioLab's University of Toronto. This is where purpose-driven science meets global ambition, one conversation at a time. So let's get into it. In today's episode, I am pleased to host Natacha Raphael, who is the head of corporate affairs and patient engagement at Abbvie Canada. Natacha, to start, could you please introduce yourself and share a bit about your role at Abbvie, as well as your connection to BioLab's University of Toronto?
Of course. Well, first, good afternoon. Hi, Allison.
Hi.
I'm so delighted to be here, and thank you for this opportunity. So, as you said, my name is Natacha, and I head up corporate affairs and patient engagement. So, what does that mean? Essentially, along with my team, what we do is we find ways to share and elevate the patient voice. And we do this through intentional and meaningful partnerships across the community. Whether it's patient organizations in a variety of different types of organizations. This includes organizations such as BioLabs, and most recently, specifically in Canada, we announced the partnership, our Abbvie being the founding sponsor of the BioLabs site in Canada, the BioLabs University of Toronto site, and this is why we're here today, to talk about how this partnership has hopefully will evolve.
Amazing. Yeah, it was so wonderful to be able to announce that founding sponsorship at our grand opening back in April.
Yes.
So what inspired Abbvie to support this particular innovation hub? And what impact do you hope it will have on Canadian biotech in the overall ecosystem?
Well, as you know, Abbvie is dedicated to bringing innovations and therapies to people living with terrible diseases. And so where does that start? It starts with research and development. Where does research start? With early stage intervention, early stage science. And so Abbvie wants to be part of the entire ecosystem. We want to be able to find those early stage innovations in science to really bring it full circle into eventually the real life healthcare system. Just like BioLabs is dedicated to life sciences and moving that along, Abbvie is also dedicated to not just doing that, but to find ways to bringing new therapies to patients. And hopefully, if this new science could turn into new therapies, we want to be able to make a lasting impact, not just for Canadians, but for people around the world.
Amazing. It's such a great alignment of mission, like you said. And so, I think one of the things that we've struggled with in Canada is actually translating our science. We're known for this world-class research base, but how do we then bring those innovations to patients? So partnerships like this are so critical.
Exactly.
There's a few areas that Canada is particularly known for in terms of its strengths. Certainly AI, and now we're seeing a lot of AI-enabled drug discovery, precision medicine, regenerative medicine, radiopharmaceuticals, and even immune engineering are all areas I would say that Canada is a global scientific leader. What scientific or innovation trends in Canada is Abbvie most excited about right now?
Right. So as you've mentioned, there are so many different types of new ways to look at the way to do research moving forward. Whether it is AI, whether it's precision medicine, whether it's diagnostic pathways. So those are all areas that Abbvie is definitely looking towards and partnering. And Abbvie doesn't believe in doing this alone. Abbvie wants to do this in partnership. When we look at the researchers and the world-renowned scientists and clinicians across Canada, in different therapeutic areas, you talked about immunotherapy, we want to be able to partner with those clinicians, with those scientists, in order to bring the next generation of medicines. At its core, Abbvie is dedicated to bringing innovations to patients, and we want to do this in collaboration with those hubs. We were earlier talking about Canada being present, the Canadian government being present, a variety of other provinces being present, because Canada is such a hub of knowledge when it comes to research, and Abbvie wants to be part of that solution for Canadians.
This year, the theme at Bio is driven by purpose. How does Abbvie define purpose-driven innovation, and how does that philosophy shape the way that you engage with emerging biotech companies and founders?
I find it so amazing that the theme is driven by purpose, because at the end of it, if you think about it, all of us here, we're all driven by purpose. We're all here because we want to bring that next innovation, right? So Abbvie is definitely driven by purpose. Our motto is people, passion, possibilities. So we have passionate people that want to make possibilities real because we have that mission, because we're driven towards that focus, that dedicated focus to bringing innovation to patients. And so that theme resonates loud and clear in the way that we approach the way that we work and the way that we approach our partners. We want to have that shared commitment to bringing innovations together.
Amazing. As the site director at BioLabs U of T, we're aiming to become a launch pad for breakthrough science, not only in Toronto, but really to enable innovations across Canada, to support entrepreneurial talent, to support new companies. What opportunities do you see for startups within the ecosystem to collaborate with organizations like Abbvie?
All right. First, it's so wonderful that we have that shared commitment, because Abbvie really looks at the ecosystem holistically, and we share that desire to be that launchpad, and to, although we don't operate necessarily the same way, this is why we partner, because we want to be able to bring those opportunities to entrepreneurs. And so the way that we do this, just like what we're doing with BioLabs in Canada and around the world, specifically in Canada, this is a 5-year investment where we're supporting through staffing, equipment, and what have you. But we want to be able to do that for other entrepreneurs and startups, and that's why I think we're going to talk about the Biotech Innovators Award.
I was going to say that's maybe a great segue, because I think you're going to give us a bit of a preview of Abbvie's Biotech Innovators Awards that will be launched in partnerships with the BioLabs U of T site. Tell us a bit about the vision behind this award and this initiative, and what kind of innovators and scientific breakthroughs Abbvie hopes to support through the program, and most importantly, when will it be launched?
Oh, okay. Well, so the vision is really about supporting the entire ecosystem and supporting startups and researchers that don't necessarily know how the entire ecosystem works. It's one thing to be a great researcher and to be great at science or to have a great idea, but how do you bring that to eventually translate that into a product or a therapy for a patient? And so through mentorship, through the work that we're doing with BioLabs, but specifically the Biotech Innovators Award, essentially it's a contest.
Okay.
And what it's about, it's once we launch the contest, we look for startups, researchers that have a great idea but don't have maybe access to wet labs, or maybe they don't have access to certain types of, how do you do a clinical trial? What do you need to really get the science to the next step? And so once we receive certain profiles, we look at them. We look at the different therapeutic areas as well, because at the end of the day, Abbvie is dedicated to specific therapeutic areas. And once those are reviewed, then a laureate is announced. We've so far had in Canada 2 laureates. We have Neuropeutics in Toronto that was announced last year.
I know that company well. Yeah, that's right.
We also had earlier this year, Rhyme Therapeutics in Montreal. And this is just specific to Canada, because this is a program around the world. Yes. And so you asked, when is it going to be launched? We want to launch 2 Innovators Award with BioLabs. The criteria and the program should be launched before the end of the year this year. So stay tuned on the date. And hopefully we'll have great 2 winners in 2027. Hopefully.
Wonderful. Well, Natacha, it was so great speaking with you today. I think we're so aligned in terms of our missions and our passion for supporting early stage entrepreneurs and startups in the biotech space. And I really look forward to working with you and the Abbvie Canada team moving forward.
Likewise. Thank you so much. It was nice to be with you today.
Great.